Ooh. I'm really not playing well for either team here. Hello to the Neo friends out there. I am back, the Neopets Battledome Trading Card Game, and today I just wanted to show you a little bit of the basics of how you actually play the game because it's pretty fun, and now I've played it for a bit, so I feel a lot better about teaching you how to do it. I will be using both starter packs to kind of show you how to play the game here, and each of those comes with a playmat. Obviously, the playmat is very, very helpful, but here's kind of a general overview of where all your cards go when they're in play. Obviously, this is your deck. Play area section is where you're dealing with your cards from your inventory through a turn. This is your rainbow pool. Of course, your rainbow pool has your painted pets. Then your Neopet deck is where all your basic pets are. Then we have round results, where if you won the round, your pet will go face up. If you lost the round, your pet will go face down. Then you have your active Neopet in play, the code stones to train it, any equipment that the Neopet has, a fairy if you have it. Void is where any cards that cannot be played again, like a fairy, go. And discard is obviously where any used cards or discarded cards go, but can be put back into your deck. You also have to have the dice, and I just found containing them is really helpful. I also found that some counter dice are really helpful, so those are not included, but I suggest having them. Today we will be playing against literally all of my Neopets. To begin with, you will take your Neopets deck and choose what basic pet you want to start with. I'm going to start with the foil uni, and that active Neopet will go into play at the top here, and my current opponent has the Gellert out. On each pet, we have strength, defense, and agility. And believe it or not, agility actually means something in the trading card game that it does not in the Battledome. Strength would be how many dice you get to roll when you are attacking. Defense is how many dice you get to roll when you're defending. And how agility works is the amount of agility above your opponent you have is the number of dice you get to re-roll. So here the uni has 6 and the Gellert has 4. So on any defense or attack roll, my uni would get 2 re-rolls because it's 2 more agility than the Gellert. So to start, you take 5 cards into your inventory hand. And what's really helpful is having a code stone. If you start the game and don't have a code stone, I suggest you ask for a mulligan. The code stones train different abilities. All of mine are currently defense, but there are ones that train up attack and train up agility. So at the beginning of your turn, you draw a card, even at the beginning of the game. You then get to train your pet, which is taking 1 code stone and adding it to your pet. You can only train once per turn. And now there is a prep phase where you can play another card. When you go to play a card, you have to pay attention to this number in the top corner. That is the level that your pet needs to be in order to play the card. Currently, my pet has 1 code stone, so it has 1 level, so I can play only cards with a 1 in the top corner. I could not play this card. The Pan Devil's Evil Twin says to target 1 equipment in your discard and play it, but we have nothing in our discard right now, so we will not play this card, and none of our other cards can currently be played. Now, normally when you start a game, the player who plays first does not attack, but I'm just going to get right into the attacking so I can explain it to you. So when you battle, you will be looking at these stats here along with any training either pet has. In this case, since it's my turn, we'll be looking at this stat, the attack stat, and for this player, we will look at the defense stat. My turn, I will roll 3 dice. In defense, the other player will roll 3 dice, and then I will re-roll 2 dice because I have an agility of 6, which is 2 more than this pet's agility of 4. The dice are really simple to use. Anything 3 and below is not a hit. Everything 4 and above is a hit, with 6 being a crit that cannot be blocked. So if you roll a 3, 2, or 1, you get nothing. If you have a 4, 5, and 6, you get a hit, but a 4 and a 5 can be defended by a number of the same amount. So I will take my 3 attack dice and roll, and the other player will take their 3 defense dice and roll. So now, in this scenario, a crit cannot block a crit, but it could block anything else. And in this situation, we have the 3, which would not normally hit, but because I have 2 agility, I can roll this again. I have a 5. Now, I could roll one more time, and see if I could get another crit, but I think I'll leave it. So in this scenario, 5 will block a 5, and it leaves 2 crits, so I hit 2 on the enemy Neopet. HP counters on the Neopets are just at the top here, and this is where your counter dice really come in handy. Instead of 10, the Gellert now has 8. And that is the end of the turn. The blue player would now go through the same steps. They would draw a card, train with a code stone if they have it. This one gives me agility. Prep. I can play this equipment because my pet has 1 code stone, a level as 1, and so you put it in an equipment slot. This card says during your battle phase, you may roll 1 die. On critical success, so a star only, a 6 only, deal 1 damage to your opponent's Neopet. So we are now back to the battle phase. It's this player's turn, so they will be rolling 3 dice, and they have agility of 5. And this player is defending, so they have 2 dice plus an extra dice from their training, making 3. And they have 6 agility, so 1 reroll this time. This is battle phase, so the blue player may roll a dice to see if they get that critical. They did not, so now we'll take their 3 dice to attack. And the red player's 3 dice to defend. Ooh, not doing the best there, but I do get 1 reroll for agility. And we have a 4. So 1 does not hit, 2s cannot defend. So these are both normal hits, so they cancel each other out. And we have the 1 crit remaining unblocked. So now our uni is at 7 HP. We are now back to the red player's turn. We draw a card, train. We have 1 more defense now. We now have 2 levels, so we can play this red Scorch Stone. During your opponent's battle phase while calculating damage, you may send this equip card to your discard and reduce the damage taken to this battle by 2. So we will equip that, and then we are back to battle. So our unit is attacking with 3, our Gellert is defending with 3, and this does not count because it's during the blue player's battle phase. This player gets to re-roll once because they have 1 more agility. Whoops. So these are all misses, meaning we have 1 hit on the Gellert. I'm really not playing well for either team here. Blue player's turn. Draw, train. This one gives extra attack. Equip. We can use this potion, which says roll 1 die on a success, so a 4, 5, or 6. Your Neopet gains 3 agility this turn. We'll give this one a try. So we'll put it in the discard pile. That's a hit, so we get plus 3 agility this turn. You can see those trackers are really handy. The Gellert, now that it's trained, will be rolling 4 to hit with 8 agility. The uni will be defending with 4 with 6 agility. So there's 2 rerolls for the Gellert. Any pet can only be leveled up until 10 in any singular stat, so keep that in mind, because your inventory carries over when a round ends, and if you start with no code stones, it's not the best time. 4 to attack, 2 rerolls. These are both misses. 4 to defend. Whoa! And no rerolls. But in this scenario, we can use our red Scorched Stone to reduce the damage taken by 2. So this goes into discard, and the uni takes no hits. Now I'll share some specific scenarios with cards. Obviously, there are a lot of different types of cards that I didn't come across, but all cards explain how it works down at the bottom. Our different categories are potion, food, legend, equipment, code stone, fairy, and of course, your pets. If we remember this card with the Pant Devil's Evil Twin, it says target 1 equipment in your discard and play it. Now, if I had, say, the Sword of Domar in my discard pile, and I pulled it out and I wanted to play this, I couldn't because my pet only has 2 levels of training. So even if this was in the discard pile, you can't use it unless these match. That applies from your hand, and that applies from discard. You also might come across food cards. Food cards are the one card that can be played out of turn. So at any step in anybody's turn, you can play a food card if you have the appropriate level and follow the effects. But then the food card goes into void instead of discard and cannot be used again. Next up, we have paintbrushes, which I'm sure you all recognize. When you get a paintbrush, you'll see there's no level usage, so you can use it at any time. And what you will do is put it into your discard, take the pet that matches, and upgrade the pet. And you will take the original version of the pet, put it back into the rainbow pool, and then use your upgraded pet. To note, if you are building a deck, you have to have the painted pet that matches the basic pets in your deck. So if I had used the loop this turn, I don't have a fire loop, so I could not have painted the pet or used that paintbrush. All of your Codestone upgrades still apply to that new pet with the new stats. There are also fairy cards. Fairies are companions that help your pet quite a bit. You can see here the Soup Fairy lets you once per turn during your draw phase or preparation phase. If you have 6 or less cards in your inventory, you may draw a card from the deck. When you play this card, it goes into the fairy stack, and when a fairy is finished being used, it also goes into the void like food. If at any time after fighting your Neopets HP reaches 0 or beyond 0, the round is over. All fairies, codestones, and equipment are removed. The fairy goes in the void, the items into the discard. The pet who lost goes face down into round results, and the pet who won goes face up into round results. Each player still keeps their inventory hand of cards, however. The player who won, in this case blue, picks a pet and places it forward, and the player who lost picks a pet and then goes first. What this player chooses may affect this player, so that is why the winner picks their Neopet first. The red player then starts the turns again with a draw, a train, and so on. But on this time, the first round you can battle on. At the beginning of the game, the first round of the game, you do not battle right away. In the second round, the losing player does get to battle right away. Once a player has lost 2 pets, 2 rounds, then they are the loser, and the game is over. So that is a basic overview on how you play the Neopets Battledome TCG. There are rules online that kind of expand on some of the words you might not know or anything, but overall, it's really straightforward. There's a lot of dice rolling, and it's a good time.